to victory. Oh, that's the fearless Army way. Yeah, I love hearing that song. Thank you so much. I've been coming here, not every year, but just about for 15 years. And man, this is a highlight for me. I love coming to Macon, I love coming to the Touchdown Club. I told my wife, I said, I feel like the prodigal son being welcomed back. I said, Lonnie's gonna have pork chops for me. They killed the fatted pig. And what a great meal. Thanks to Allison and Lonnie and just the hospitality here. And the Methodist Home. What an incredible place this is for young people and just how the folks here serve these young men and women that are here. And so I know everybody here really supports this school, this program, this home. And my wife and I do too, proudly, and we intend to continue. I hope you will too. I want to extend an apology for not being here last year. I was supposed to be here last year, and we ran into a wrinkle and I couldn't make it. So thanks for inviting me back to the Macon Touchdown Club, and just how you honor the game, honor coaches and high school athletes. It's fantastic. That's what the game is all about. Is the young people, the competitors in the arena, and just really nice to be recognized, especially for our athletes. And they work hard, they give up a lot, they do way more than their classmates that are their counterparts walking the hallways every day, and they represent their schools, and so it's great that you guys honor them. I'm so proud to see Coach Anthony Williams here. Anthony was a player at Georgia Southern when I was assistant for Paul Johnson. And you players that play for Coach Williams, you need to know that was one tough guy right there. He was a heck of a player. He was one of the toughest guys we ever coached. So, Ant, good to see you doing so well. I want to thank our veterans and welcome home. And freedom isn't free. Somebody's paying the price for freedom, and it's our veterans. So it's awesome that we got a day like today to honor our veterans. And if you'll indulge me, I'll tell you the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And oftentimes those kind of get lumped in and considered the same. But Memorial Day is a holiday to remember those that have paid the ultimate price and have died in service to our country. And we should honor them. But Veterans Day is an opportunity to honor all veterans. Anyone that served, that has served, is serving right now, and so thanks to our veterans and for all you do. There's one of the most decorated soldiers in World War II is Alvin York. He's an Army soldier, earned the Medal of Honor. He led a unit into a sniper stronghold, a German sniper stronghold, captured under fire 35 machine guns, killed 25 enemies, took 125 prisoners. And so this is a soldier that wrote this. This isn't a politician or an author, but if you'll let me, and I think this is really says a lot for what Veterans Day should be. Liberty and freedom and democracy are so very precious that you do not fight to win them once and then stop. Liberty and freedom and democracy are prizes awarded only to those peoples who fight to win them and then keep fighting eternally to hold them. And that's what our veterans do every day. That's what our men and women who have served and continue to serve every day. So once again, thanks to our veterans. So I coach at an institution that has 4,400 young men and women who have made a pledge to serve their country. It's a pretty unique situation to coach in. Pretty unique place to live. I actually live on campus, as does our coaching staff. Many of you probably remember me talking about how that came to be. Red Blake, when he became the coach in 1941, So Red was a graduate of West Point, and he went in the Army, served in the cavalry, actually, you know, riding a horse, cavalry. Got out of the Army, went back to Dayton, Ohio. He was building homes with his dad. He was a home builder in Dayton, Ohio. And one of the assistant coaches at West Point got the head coaching job at Dartmouth. And he called Red and said, "Hey, Red, why don't you think about coming up here during the season and helping me at Dartmouth?" So Red said that sounded like it would be fun. So he went up there and coached the season at Dartmouth, and he went back to Dayton, Ohio, and built homes all spring and summer. And then the next year, he went back up to New Hampshire and coached at Dartmouth, and did that a few years. And his dad finally said, "Look, you got to choose between building houses and coaching." And he said, "Well, I'm having more fun coaching, so I think I'll go do that." So, long story short, he became the head coach at Dartmouth, then became the head coach at Army. So mind you, he was in the cavalry and was in the Army for 4 years. So he got out, he was a captain in the Army. And when he got back to West Point, he thought it'd be a good idea as the coach that he was on the same pay grade as all of the department heads teaching at the school, which are all full bird colonels. So he bamboozled the superintendent into giving him the birds for his shoulder, so he became Colonel Blake. And since he was Colonel Blake, he said, "Well, since I'm a colonel, I think I probably ought to live on Colonel's Row. This is where all the colonels live." They had these nice houses. So he said, "Okay, we'll give you a house on Colonel's Row." He said, "Well, I think I'd like to build a house on Colonel's Row." So they dynamite out a lot at the end of the street. He builds a home which he and his family lived in, which I now live in. Every coach from Red Blake until now has lived in that house, which is pretty fantastic. But he also told the superintendent, "I think we ought to build houses for our assistant coaches on campus so they'd be close to the players and support the players." So they did that too. And all of our assistant coaches live on campus in those houses. So we got a coach living in Paul Dietzel's house. We got a coach living in Vince Lombardi's house. Pretty incredible history there. But we are amongst a group of young men and women who have pledged a commitment to serve this nation. And if you're 17, 18 years old right now in America, you got access to a lot. And no matter what your background and circumstances, compared to the rest of the world, we're pretty privileged. And our young people are too. And they get fed these messages to look out for themselves, do what's best for them, and build your own brand. And our young men and women forego all that, and they make a pledge and commitment to do something and serve something much bigger than themselves. And commit to a life where they don't get thank you notes and their names aren't in the paper for what they do. They just proudly go and serve, humbly go and serve. And that word service, that means something at West Point. Because service it's not a popularity contest. It's not self-promotion. It is to humbly serve. And doing things for others that they can't do for themselves, accepting responsibilities that others aren't willing to accept. So what an incredible place to raise my children. When we went to West Point, my children were 10, 6, and 3. And they're now 21, 17, and 14. And they've grown up at West Point. But every day, just influenced by these young people that are there. When they go to Sunday school, it's taught by cadets. When they have a tutoring session at the Youth Services Center on campus, cadets are there tutoring them. They go to camp in the summertime, cadets are there. I mean, what an incredible experience for my children, and how thankful we are to have been a part of this community for so long. So I'm in my 11th season at West Point, so just getting started in case you're wondering. And I'm glad to see our flag still proudly displayed over here in the corner. And I looked carefully to make sure that we didn't see any flags of that junior college in Annapolis hanging up here. And I'm proud to say that's the only one flying over there. But we're really proud of West Point, and we're proud of who we represent. The long gray line of graduates who have all served in the United States Army, but the over 1 million men and women who currently serve on active duty in the United States Army. That's our team. Those are the colors we wear. And, just fantastic to be able to run out in that field and represent all of them like we do, and to have a winning team to represent them. You know, the college football world is a lot different than it was even 3 years ago. With transfer portal and NIL, and each week I look at rosters and I count the number of players who have played at a different college. And we played in consecutive weeks a roster that had 44 players that had played at another college before they got there, 4 of whom have played at 2 colleges, 42 players who had played at a different college, and 38 players who had played at a different college on the roster. Every one of our players started their careers at West Point, and every one of them will finish their careers at West Point. And it's still a model where we develop our young men in the program, and they become players for us as freshmen and sophomores, and then play as juniors and seniors. And to have a team, to build a culture, and to have guys in the locker room that are invested in each other and care about each other, man, it's an awesome place to coach. And I've got counterparts all over the country that envy my job and the opportunities that we have to develop young people. And so I'm so happy for our players that we're experiencing some success. You know, it's hard to win. It's hard to win a college football game. I don't care who you're playing. And it's really hard to be undefeated. Lord knows how we are. I mean, it's hard to do it. But our guys have just shown tremendous maturity and professionalism in their job. And you know, it's what you hope that they will be as officers. It's what I hope they'll be. Mature, professional, lead teams, don't wear themselves out, patting themselves on the back. What's behind us is behind us, and it's on to the next mission, just as a soldier should approach his career. We've had an interesting stretch here the last couple of years. So last season we started out. So I'm gonna go back a couple of years. So 2022, I believe that's the last time I was here. Prior to the 2022 season, the great minds of College Football Rules Committee decided it would be a good idea to eliminate blocking below the waist. So for us in the option world, that was a little bit of a blow. We wore black armbands on our arms for about 2 months there, losing the cut block, because we relied on it for a long time. And as you heard said, I was an assistant at Georgia Tech, and so you Georgia fans, you remember Paul Johnson's teams, those slot backs and receivers go out there and carve up legs like a Thanksgiving turkey. That's part of the option game. So in 2022, they decided they were going to change that rule. We couldn't do that anymore. Well, I didn't really know how 2022 was going to go. We had to kind of modify what we were doing and change a little bit, and we did. We limped through the season. Frankly, we ended up 6-6, but we had beaten a couple teams pretty handily, and a couple of those teams were on our schedule again in 2023. But after the 2022 season, I decided I didn't know if we could sustain running that offense like we were. So I made a change in the offense coordinator, and I hired a guy that runs an option from the gun. And so I'm a smart enough coach. I should have known better, but I should say I'm not a very smart coach. I've been coaching long enough, I should have known. So a year ago, we started out the season 2-1. One of those losses, unfortunately, was to Louisiana Monroe, who's having a great year this year. They were a bad football team. We had beaten them 52-14 or something the year before. We go down there to Louisiana and score 6 points on offense with this new offense. Well, we go on a stretch there, and we lost to Syracuse, Boston College, Troy, who was the Sun Belt champion a couple years in a row. Man, they had a good team. And LSU, all good football teams, all bowl teams. And then we lost to UMass, who, no offense to UMass and Coach Brown, he's a great coach, but that's not a good football team either. We had boat raced them out of the stadium 44-7 the year before. We lost to them 21-14. So I knew that something needed to change. But I'm really proud of our players, because even at 2-6, they never stopped believing, never lost that leadership in the locker room. And we won our last 4 down the stretch. And by the end of the season, I knew that we needed to get back to who we are and what we needed to be. And so I made another change in our offensive coordinator and hired our quarterbacks coach to do that, Cody Worley, who is from Calhoun, Georgia, and has coached here in the state of Georgia. And you know, we haven't lost since starting 2-6 last year. So just the resiliency of our team, the toughness of our team, has been the reason that we've been able to have success. And we're not particularly talented. You know, if you look at us on paper, you look at our opponents, we're not supposed to win any game we play. But we give ourselves a chance because we got guys that are mentally tough, they're competitive, they're winners, and they will fight to the bitter end for each other. Just what a team is supposed to do. And that's what's great about a team. When you have a true team, it doesn't matter what the record is. As Coach Williams was saying, his season hasn't gone the way the way they had hoped. But they had guys every day working hard for each other, playing for each other. That's what team is. And it's been a great lesson for our guys. It's been a great lesson for them. And it will be for them as they transition into the Army. As I mentioned, we had Coach Worley from Calhoun, Georgia. We got 7 coaches on our staff that are either from the state of Georgia or coached in the state of Georgia, high school and college. We got 23 players on our team from the state of Georgia. We have 3 coaches that have a recruiting area in the state of Georgia, so we're committed to recruiting players from this state. We've had a lot of really good players that have helped us win a lot of football games from here. I'm glad to see Coach Hatcher. I know you know Coach Hatcher well. So much respect for Coach Hatcher and Chris, who's over at Sanford. We're a tremendous football family. I'm from a football family, and it's probably why I feel such a kinship with Coach Hatcher. My dad was my high school coach, and my dad's 4 brothers were all head high school coaches in the state of Illinois while I was growing up. So five brothers coaching football. Monken's the name, football's the game in the state of Illinois. There are 7 of us who are sons of those 7 brothers who are now coaching. So we're a coach's family, and you know, I love this game, and I feel so blessed and honored to be a part of this game. I always wanted to be a coach. I've always wanted to be a football coach. Never wanted to do anything else. So every day I walk from that house that Red Blake built. It takes me 3 minutes to walk across the walking bridge to the stadium, and I'm in my office. I got the best commute in college football. Got a great place to raise my kids. I got the most unbelievable young men in the country to coach, and I'm so proud of them, so happy for them to have had the success that they've had so far. So coming up, we got no game this weekend, which really gave me some freedom to be able to travel and be here with you tonight. We play Notre Dame the following Saturday in Yankee Stadium, which will be a very iconic setting. There are pictures, black and white photos in our building of Army teams from the 1940s, 1950s playing in Yankee Stadium against Notre Dame. And so to rekindle this rivalry in that venue is going to be pretty awesome. The only problem is we got to play Notre Dame. It's not Notre Dame High School from the Bronx. It's the actual Notre Dame from South Bend. And they got a great football team and they're well coached, and so it'll be a tremendous challenge for us. But we're looking forward to the opportunity. We then have, on Thanksgiving weekend, the University of Texas San Antonio, UTSA, was a conference champion in Conference USA 2 years in a row. They joined the American Athletic Conference last year, one of the top teams in the league. We will play them on Thanksgiving weekend for an opportunity to play in the conference championship game, which is the first Saturday in December, actually Friday night of that first weekend in December. And then we've got the showdown in Washington, D.C. with the Squids from Annapolis. And man, there is no game like that. And it's fantastic to have that Saturday all to ourselves. I hope we can keep it. I don't know how long we can with the playoffs expanding and all those things, but we've got that Saturday all to ourselves, and there is no game like it. There's no rivalry like it. The intensity and competitiveness of that game is unlike any game in college football. So we've got a lot of football left to play and a lot to play for. And I will tell you, we got maybe not the most talented team, but we got the best team I could ask for. Well led, playing our hearts out, playing for each other. And so I think we've got a chance to win every time we play this year. So I hope you'll watch and be cheering for us. Regardless of what your team colors are, everybody can cheer for America's team, and that's Army West Point. Go Army, beat Navy. I'm told I'm going to take some questions. Sir. I'm to tell you about our running back. So our running back is disguised as a quarterback. Our quarterback has rushed for a little, I don't know exactly the number, a little over 1,000 yards. He went into the game Saturday with 909 yards and he rushed for 153. I'm a PE major from Milliken, so I can't do the math on that. But he's over 1,000 yards and having a great year. He's a tough, rugged, Abernathy, Texas, high school coach's kid. Man, I mean, he's like Captain America. That guy is awesome. We also have a running back who quietly is in the top 25 in the country for all rushers, who plays our running back position. So we got two of the top runners in the top 25 this year, Kanye Udo. Bryson Daly's our quarterback. Kanye Udo from Mays Landing, New Jersey is our running back. So they're making a big difference for our football team. The guys that are doing it are the offensive line. The offensive line we got this year is the best one I've ever coached. So we're thankful to have them. Yes, sir.
So speaking of breaking drought, so you got to Army in 2014, maybe it won 12 in a row.
Yes, they had. Thanks for the reminder. I did coach at Navy, by the way. You heard that said, the only blemish on my resume.
And we had 2 more close games after that, and you won in 2016. Have you ever had a victory that's meant as much to the players and fans as that game?
So the streak was 12 games when I took the job. Asking about the streak that Navy had over Army, which lasted 14 years. So I was on the other sideline with Paul Johnson when the streak started. And I was there 6 years with Paul. We won all 6 of them. I felt a personal responsibility to end the streak. And so after 2 close tries in 2014 and 2015, we did beat them in 2016. And there were 3-star generals crying on our sideline and in tears in the tunnel afterwards. What that victory meant, not only to our academy and to our grads, but to the United States Army. That's why it's so special to win there, because of the men and women that we represent. So that was a great victory, and for the record, we've won 6 of the last 8. I'm embarrassed to say it's not 8 out of 8, but that's pretty good. So hopefully on December 14th, we'll make it 7 out of 9. Sir.
I just wondering, since your office week, will we borrow that running back from 7 1/2?
Well, asking about borrowing the running back. He's not for rent. And Kirby's got a pretty good payroll over there. I'm pretty sure he's probably got somebody that he can find to handle that for you. Yeah, sir.
Okay, two-part question here.
We got a 2-part question. You know, the reporters do this to me. So the last press conference we had, most of that's done on Zoom now. It used to be people would fill the room, and now you do it on Zoom. And our sports information director said to this fellow that's a beat writer for the local paper, he said, all right, 2 questions. So the first question he asked, second question, he asked 2-part questions. So he got 3 questions in on 2. So 2-part question.
Look ahead and tell us about what your plan is and your anticipation of the Notre Dame game. You take you to a 10-0 season and you win it. And the other thing is, how are the service academies going to compete in the NIL transfer pool era? How can they continue to do this?
All right, 2 questions. One is the Notre Dame game and the anticipation of that game and the opportunity to get to 10-0, and that's really all it is to try to get a 10th victory. Having a mature football team, having guys in our locker room who understand that what's right in front of you is way more important than what's beyond that. And they're taught that every day. They're taught that in our classrooms. They're taught that in our military science classes. You know, when a soldier has to stand face to face with an enemy, that's the only thing that matters. Not the victory of the war. It's winning that battle. And so our guys have done a really good job of that. And we're looking forward to the opportunity to play Notre Dame. It's obviously a great test for us. And they're going to be tough to win, or they're going to be tough to beat. But I really think if we're playing our very best and our guys execute, play tough, play physical, which I think they will, we'll be tough to beat. The second question was about NIL and academies competing in NIL. Well, I mentioned the transfers that were on the other rosters. The guys in our locker room, they love each other. They have gone through Beast Barracks or Cadet Basic Training together. They've gone through their plebe year, their freshman year, where they are the lowest ranking cadets and they're getting told what to do and how to do it. You got to stand a certain way, you got to talk a certain way, you got to wear a uniform every day, you got to shave face, haircut, room clean. Your freshman year at West Point is a miserable existence. You can ask any one of them. It's hard, but it's easy to be easy, tough to be tough. So we got tough guys that go through a lot of stuff together. They go out and they do summer training. They sleep out in the woods, in the mountains, 41 degrees, it's raining on them. And they do some hard stuff. So when you do that together, you do that with other people, there's a bond that's forged. And that's in our locker room. And I think that bond and that sense of brotherhood and that sense of obligation to somebody else in the locker room isn't quite as strong. When he played at College A last year, he played at College B, he played at College C and College D the year before that, he played at College E, College F, and you put a team together. We got a brotherhood. And so it's not an advantage, it's just an equalizer. It brings that, because the physical disparity between most teams we play, their speed, their size, their athleticism, there oftentimes is a disparity. And when we play in 2 weeks at Notre Dame, there's going to be a great disparity. The way that we equalize that are by the things that we do in building a team and building a program. So that's how we will remain competitive in an NIL world. We're never going to give NIL, we're never going to give money to our players. They're government employees. They do receive a small stipend each month for which they pay for their haircuts, their laundry, their books, their their cobbler's bench for their shoes. They have to put money in a savings account. If they grow out of their uniforms, you either got to get somebody else's or buy new ones. That's their pay, so they can pay for their stuff. It's a unique experience, but they're learning lessons that nobody else does. They're learning lessons to be tough and to fight through adversity. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Not when the going gets tough, I transfer. And tough guys or good people that play together can always win together. And they can't be void of talent, and we're not. We got some talented guys on our team. But it'll never be about the money. And college football isn't about the money. Because the players might be receiving money, but there's still the fans in here, you're cheering for that team, regardless of who's playing for that team. And so when we play for the brand, we play for this brand right here, we play for each other. And so I believe that we can remain relevant and competitive in college football, even in the world that we're in right now. Yes, sir.
Last year, Paul Johnson was presented to Georgia Beach, Georgia Sports Hall of Fame and the College Football Hall of Fame. I'm sure you very ecstatic.
I was thrilled. Paul Johnson was inducted into the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame, and deservedly so. He is a remarkable football coach. And he was my boss for 13 years. He was the head coach at Georgia Southern, and like I said, there's a junior college there in Maryland that we worked at for a little while, and in Georgia Tech. But he was the offensive coordinator at the University of Hawaii. My first job out of college, I went to the University of Hawaii as a graduate assistant. I was 22 years old, and it was apparent to everybody that worked with Paul Johnson how smart of a football coach he was, how competitive he was, and everybody knew he was going to be a great head coach. So he had just a marvelous career. Georgia Southern, in 5 years, we won 62 games. So he won 52 games his last 4 years at Georgia. 52 games in 4 years. I was there 4 years, we won 38. I thought that was pretty good. 52 games. Just a tremendous coach. We went to Georgia Tech and won the ACC championship in year 2, which I had a chance to be a part of. Where a lot of people said that offense won't work at this level. Well, we won the ACC championship, we won it again, we won the Orange Bowl, and finished number 8 in the country. And I'm not really sure, but I think there's only one coach in Georgia Tech history that's won more games than he has. I say that's pretty good. So he's a great football coach, and he's a great friend, been a mentor to me. We all are our own coach, but so many things I learned from him, and I probably have leaned on how he built teams and his competitiveness and toughness more than any coach I've worked with. So I'm really proud of Coach. Yes, sir.
I saw where you had a 14-minute drive Saturday.
We did have a 14-minute drive Saturday. 13 minutes and 54 seconds. It wasn't quite 14.
Have you ever used a whole quarter?
So they had the ball for 38 seconds in the third quarter. We got the ball. We got the second half kickoff. We had to punt. Man, I hate to punt. I'd be all for them just ruling that out. If they just eliminated punts from football, I'd be okay with it. But we punted. They ran 3 plays and punted it back to us. Those were the only plays they had in the third quarter, and then we held the ball all the way in the fourth quarter. And I wish we could have held it for a little longer, because they had a couple chances in the fourth quarter to score, and we made some great plays on defense. But that's the second longest drive that I've been a part of. The longest being a 26-play drive that took, I think it was 14 minutes and 36 seconds or something like that. We kicked a field goal at the end of that one. So at least this one was scored a touchdown. It's a long drive. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you.